as mentioned, week 2 of the NFL is upon us, and we have 4 different games that will feature former #1 overall pick quarterbacks that are facing off against each other. So we got Caleb Williams and Jared Goff with the Bears and the Lions, Bryce Young and Kyler Murray, Matt Stafford and Cam Ward. That's got to do what, like the oldest #1 overall pick quarterback that's active in the league against the youngest. And then, oh, here we go. T-Law versus Joe Cool.
No T-Law. Joe Shiesty. You mean Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, a.k.a. T-Law. Okay, we have Pete Prisco is back with us, and we have Leger Douzable. We're going to go down all of these 4 matchups, and we're going to talk about who is the better #1 overall pick, and then who's actually going to win the game. In a lot of scenarios, they might be the same, they might be different. We'll have to see. So we're starting off with the Bears and the Lions, and Caleb Williams and Jared Goff. So, Leger, who do you think was the best #1 overall pick for the draft class and the years in each scenario?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because Caleb has played 1 year in 1 game.
Right.
But when you look at the body of work, it's obviously Jared Goff, right? Had success with multiple teams, not only the Detroit Lions, but also the LA Rams as well. This is a guy that was left for his career to die, Pete. Literally, people, when he went to Detroit, they thought his career was over. And he was part of that turnaround in Detroit to help resurrect his career and resurrect this franchise. Now, they really struggled in week 1. But when you're talking about specifically Caleb Williams or Jared Goff, and you see it right there last season, 2-0 versus the Bills, completing over 67% of his passes, I don't even think this is close. It's Jared Goff, landslide over Caleb Williams.
And to be honest with you, young Jared Goff was ahead of Caleb Williams right now, too. Remember, he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams.
Yeah.
People forget that. So this is actually a really easy one. It's almost unfair to Caleb Williams because he hasn't played. But young Jared Goff would have been ahead of Caleb Williams, too. So I think that's a slam dunk. It's definitely Jared Goff.
And what about this matchup here? Because both of these teams are still trying to get their first win of the season. And we were talking about it yesterday. Whoever loses, it's really going to be an uphill battle to get back into the playoff race already in week 2. So, Pete, who do you think, which quarterback wins the game?
Oh, I think the Lions win the game.
Okay.
The Lions and Bears both had interior offensive line problems on Sunday, and the team that runs the ball best will be the team that wins the game, and I think that's going to be the Lions. The Lions will fix theirs. I think they have, I think they have the talent to fix it. They're young up there now, but I do think they fix it. So I'll go with the Lions and Jared Goff.
To Pete's point, major concerns for both teams in the interior of that offensive line. When you look at it, 3 new starters on both sides, right, in the interior of the offensive line. And the Lions are synonymous with running the football. They couldn't run a lick versus the Green Bay Packers, right? When you have a 2-headed monster in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and they get less than 50 yards rushing, it's a long day at the office. Jared Goff was just dinking and dunking. They weren't able to stretch the field because they weren't able to run the ball. So play action pass is ineffective. So I'm looking forward to seeing John Morton, the new offensive coordinator. Remember, he was with Detroit with Ben Johnson, left, went to Denver, came back. Let's see if he can get that offense going this weekend versus the Chicago Bears. I'm leaning towards the Lions winning this game as well.
All right, so that was a clean sweep for Jared Goff in that one. Let's go to the next matchup. We have the Panthers and the Cardinals. So we have
his favorite 2 quarterbacks.
It's the Tiny Bowl.
You said that. We didn't say that. We have Bryce Young and Kyler Murray.
Well, I'm a tiny guy. I mean, look, I'm short too, so.
So, Pete, I feel like I know the answer, but who is the better #1 overall pick?
You have to be kidding me on this, right?
I got to ask the question.
But I know, but it's not even close. It is not even close. And you can go back to Kyler Murray's early years. He was better than Bryce Young in his early years because it's the same kind of comparison that we just have. We have a guy who's been in the league for a long time and a guy who's in his 2nd or 3rd season. So when you look at it from that standpoint, I believe that it's a big edge to Kyler Murray. Now, having said that, this is a big year for Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
He has to go out and prove to people that he can be their franchise quarterback. He's cost a lot of money, and I think when you look at it from that standpoint, he's got to get them to the postseason. I think this is a big year for him. So this is easy for me. It's Kyler Murray. He is the winner of the Tiny Bowl, at least in my mind.
Oh, Lord. And Leger, you were nodding your head in agreement.
Yes,
not the Tiny Bowl.
Not the Tiny Bowl.
No.
But as far as Kyler Murray, it's not even close. To Pete's point, earlier Kyler Murray was Offensive Rookie of the Year, so he came out the gate swinging as far as being a guy that you can depend on. And to your point also, massive year for Kyler Murray, right? It's not about how you start the season because for the last couple of years, the Cardinals have always started fast, right? And if you look how the schedule sets up this year, they're probably going to start fast again. It's late November, December, and then in the 4th quarter, because I go back just to last week, they have a 10-point lead, and Kyler Murray and the offense got into a rut in the 4th quarter, which allowed the New Orleans Saints to potentially come back and tie that game and go into overtime. So if you're Kyler Murray, it's about finishing, not just every single game in the fourth quarter, but the back half of the season as well. Bryce Young, I know people say he didn't have a really good game last week. There was 3 plays I counted that were awful that he cannot have, that he has to get out of his system. Scrambling and then fumbling the ball, you cannot do that. Protect the ball is everything. Also, that interception that he threw earlier in the first half, you have to see that safety over the top, Eric Murray, you can't do that. And he got lucky one play, Pete. There was a pick 6 that got called back for Jordan Lewis holding on the play, which was suspect, I will say the least, but if you're Bryce Young, you cannot make that play. You're going down to the ground and you're trying to throw it like with no velocity and it gets picked off. Like those are the plays you have to take out of your system. Now, I did see a lot of stuff that I liked as far as throwing with anticipation, driving the ball on out routes, but until you take out those plays, people are going to continue to say you're a potential bust as the #1 overall pick. So Bryce Young needs a big bounce back game this week.
Don't forget about his 4th down and play where he threw the ball into the crowd.
That one was a little suspect because it was a switch release. They ran quarters coverage. The corner's sitting there. He had 2 defenders in his face.
You can't throw it into the crowd.
He tried to just throw it up, but there was 2 defenders in his face.
And let somebody intercept it. Who cares? You can't throw it into the crowd.
That game was already over by then anyway.
But you can't throw it into the crowd. You can't defend
Not a good play. I'm just saying there's 2 defenders in his face. It's not as easy as you think it is to just throw it up and put it somewhere.
It's easier than throwing it into the crowd. It gives you a chance. You got to give yourself a chance. By the way, what's the over/under on these 2 taking jumps to throw the ball over the line of scrimmage?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Pete.
Because there were a couple plays where Bryce Young did that the other day. Did you see him on the tape? Did you see him on the tape?
I don't know the number, but maybe. I'm sure there's a book somewhere we can find a total on that. All right, and we're both in agreement that the Cardinals are probably going to win this matchup.
Yes.
All right, so now we have Matt Stafford and Cam Ward, and this is again kind of unfair because we've seen one game.
Cam Ward's played one game.
One game in his whole career.
So of course we're gonna have to say the better #1 overall pick as it stands right now is Matt Stafford, Leger, because we just don't really know about Cam Ward yet.
I had the pleasure of watching this game versus the Texans in person Sunday. I was out there for us, CBS Sports HQ. And I know a lot of people had question marks about Matt Stafford in the back, right? He's in his late 30s. And I had a back in my 9th year. And usually when you hit that 30 threshold, you usually have that back injury for the entire year. Pete, there was no ill effects to that back in that game. He still can spin it with the best of them in this league. I mean, that corner route to Xavier Smith, I thought it was asinine that he even threw the ball, but he put it where only Xavier Smith could catch it. And then he's a Houdini, right? No look pass again to Puka Nacua on the end breaking route. And then rolling out to the left, like, remember, he's a right-handed quarterback. So he has to square up to get the velocity to get it to Davis Allen in the back of the corner for end zone. Matt Stafford is still playing at a high level, even in his late 30s. This isn't even a fair topic because, again, Cam Ward has played one game. But if they get that type of Matt Stafford, it's really like they could go on a Super Bowl run with this LA Rams team because I didn't even talk about the defense. The defense played out of its mind on Sunday.
And by the way, how many points did the Rams score in that game? A boatload, right?
He scored a boatload, but he looked good.
He scored 14?
He looked good, though.
He didn't score any points, though.
He looked good. But the Texans have a really good defense, too.
The Rams are slow.
Yeah.
That's a slow team. And I think the Titans' defense actually played pretty well last week. This could be an interesting matchup with Matt Stafford. It's an easy decision. I mean, if Cam Ward has a career like Matt Stafford, right now he'd sign for that.
Yeah.
Right now, if you said to Cam Ward, "Here you go, here's the paper. Do you want your choice of your careers is Matt Stafford?" Would you say yes? Absolutely, he would sign for it right away. So it's unfair to Cam Ward. He did some good things. Cam Ward made some good plays, made some bad ones, and that's understandable. You're on the road, starting on the road at Denver against one of the better defenses, if not the best defense in the league, and that's tough to do. So Matt Stafford, yes. It's going to be tough for Matt Stafford this week. That Titans defense played good football last week against Bo Nix.
But we think it's going to be the Rams when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think the Rams get it done.
Close.
Closer than the experts think.
Okay.
Close.
All right. So maybe a little preview for your picks coming up. All right. Let's talk about the Jags and the Bengals. We mentioned this is a big year for Kyler Murray. It's also a big year for Trevor Lawrence. We keep hearing that over and over again. Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow. Pete, who is the better #1 overall pick?
It's not close.
It's not close. It's not. Joe Burrow is phenomenal. Joe Burrow is one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the National Football League. This is not a comparison. Trevor Lawrence has a lot of potential, hasn't shown it yet. This is a proving year for him, and I think he got off to a good start with Liam Cohen. Didn't put up gaudy numbers, but when you run for 200 yards, there's no reason to put up gaudy numbers. But he looked, and I've said this all summer, he's looked confident. His motion is quicker. His mechanics are better. The ball got out on time. All of that. Did he miss a couple throws? Sure he did. He missed one to Brian Thomas on the sideline. Got it. Have to hit that. Yeah. He missed, Hunter should have caught the one ball, but it wasn't a great throw. There are little things to clean up, but it was better, and I think this is a great chance with the Liam Cohen calling plays and running the football the way they do and being physical. He's going to get going and put up some big numbers. He might have to do it this week, but Joe Burrow is one of the best in the league. This clearly goes to Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's Joe Shiesty all the way. You got to think about it. 2 AFC Championship appearance, a Super Bowl appearance as well. Help his #1 receiver win the Triple Crown last year. Now, the offense looked like a shell of itself. And there's always, for a quarterback, there's one team, Pete. There's always one team. And for Joe Burrow, for some odd reason, it's the Cleveland Browns. No matter what year it is, he struggles, especially playing in Cleveland. So you would hope that they would knock some of that rust off this week. This would be the second week they're at home versus Trevor Lawrence. To me, this is a landslide. To Pete's point, going back and watching the tape of Trevor Lawrence, I love that he played within timing. Got the ball out of his hands. Now, we did see some old Trevor Lawrence, right? 2nd and 24. That's what old Trevor Lawrence would have did. Tried to force the ball over in a 2-hole shell. J.C. Horn makes a heck of a play with a one-handed pick. But there's not a high percentage of you picking that up. There's no need to throw that. Sometimes you just need to check it down, live to fight another day, maybe punt the ball away and win. Because remember, you're up in that game. The only thing that can hurt you is a turnover. That was like the one play going back to Trevor Lawrence's performance where I was like, you just can't do that.
No,
right?
He's got to throw that to Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
He's open on the inside. But even if Brian Thomas isn't the one he wants to throw it to, he's got to stay on him so J.C. Horton can't sink and make the play. Because if he does that, it's a big play to Travis Hunter.
So it's Joe Shiesty. I don't even think it's close.
And really quick, and we think Bengals are going to win.
Close.
Yeah.
Close.
Here it is, close.
I'll go Jags. I'll just make it spicy. All right. Pete Leger, we certainly appreciate it. We've got a lot of great matchups to look forward to. Pete, you're on a promo.
There he is.
Where's Rand?
Oh, so now we got to complain about
Where's Rand?
Okay,
Where's
we're going to
Rand?
try and get Rand into the promo. Make sure you check out the game day recap right here on CBS Sports HQ with the crew. Damian, Haley, Pete, Rand Carthon Sundays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss it.